Shalom and welcome back to the Light to the Nations channel. In this video today I want to invite you to study with me. We are not going to use any presentation this time. We are just going to use some notes, and the most important thing is that we are going to use the Debar of YaHuWaH, our source of truth. So if you don't have your scriptures close to you, please go take them, because I want you to read along with me and study with me this important topic. We are gonna, what is it about? In this study, in this video, I want us to review an important topic and an important question that is related to Yahushua himself, and he really took a Nazir Vow. What is a Nazir Vow? It's a Nazarite vow. In Hebrew it's called Nazir. So every time that you hear that I'm referring to the Nazir Vow, I'm talking about the Nazarite vow. You know why it's so important? Because lately there are some people that are talking that Yahushua took a Nazir vow, and because of taking this vow, he became a Cohen. So this is an important aspect, and it's something that I want to share with you. What I have found in the Debar of YaHuWaH, and you know, as all the videos, all the studies that I have been sharing with you, the intention of this video is not to cause any polemic, it's not to cause any discussion, debate, it's not to blame anybody. The whole intention is to share the truth, to search the truth. Because we know we are not teachers, we are not masters, we are not the owner of the truth. The only owner of the truth is Yahuwah, and the source of the truth is his Debar, the word of YaHuWaH. And the words of Yahushua, he said that the word of YaHuWaH is the truth, and it is written in Tehillim. I don't remember the chapter, but it's written over there is that the sum of his word is the truth. I think it's in the chapter 119. So we have a duty, we have a responsibility to search for the truth, and this is what we are gonna try to do in this video, just to search for the truth directly, testing everything directly under the light of the Debar of YaHuWaH. Okay, that's the whole intention. And you know, in my experience, I can tell you is that every time that we search for the truth and we find the truth under the guidance of the Ruach directly here in our heart, and we embrace the truth, believe it or not, and most probably you experience this in your life as well, we make progress on the way of YaHuWaH. And somehow by searching and embracing the truth, we are prepared in order to receive more light, more truth. This is the way we grow. This is the way we make progress in the word, in the way of YaHuWaH. So in order to study this topic, and again, the question we have here, and this is the question we will try to answer directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH, is, did Yahushua took a Nazir vow? So the first thing in order to start this topic is we need to understand what is a Nazir vow. And for that we need to go to the Sefer Bemidbar. This is the book of Numbers, Sefer Bemidbar, book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. Bemidbar, Numbers, chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. And it says the following: And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When a man or woman does separate by making a vow of a Nazir, to separate to Yahuwah, he separates himself from wine and strong drink. He drinks neither vinegar of wine nor vinegar of strong drink, neither does he drink any grape juice, nor eat grapes or raisins. All the days of his separation he does not eat whatever is made of the grapevine, from seed to skin. Let me read also the verse 5, and it says the following: All the days of the vow of his separation a razor does not come upon his head, until the days are completed for which he does separate himself to Yahuwah. He is set apart. He shall let the locks of the hairs of his head grow long. So we see here is basically, and you can read the entire chapter for more context, is that the Nazir Vow is part of this instruction. It's a special vow that is applicable or is available for men and women to take it. And it's a special vow to separate, the person that is taking is to separate himself or herself to a specific task for Yahuwah. It doesn't mention what is the task, it's just a separation vow for something special for Yahuwah. If you read also in context, it doesn't mention any specific duration of the vow. And it's my belief, reading the entire chapter as well, is that this is under the decision of the person taking the vow. The person is deciding how long the vow is gonna last. Okay? But the important here in this passage are the special instruction for the person taking the vow. And the most specific one is that during the duration of the vow, the person has not to drink any wine or strong drink or any vinegar that is coming from the wine or the strong drink. Also, they are not permitted to drink any grape juice or to eat any grape or raisins. So anything that is coming from grape is forbidden during the duration of the vow. Okay? Also, cutting the hair is forbidden as part of the vow during the period of the vow. So people need to let the hair grow during that period of time. So those are the specific instructions for the Nazir vow, and those are the important things that we need to remember as part of this study that we are doing together. Okay? So during my journey, I have been hearing two positions about Yahushua taking a Nazir vow. The first one that I heard long time ago is that Yahushua was under a Nazir vow during his entire life. Why people is thinking on that is because, you know, in the movies, in the art, we can see that Yahushua, the Messiah, is always depicted with long hair. Okay, and we saw in the part of the Nazir vow is that they need to let the hair grow. So people believe because of that depiction of the Yahushua having a long hair is that he was under a Nazir vow. This is one aspect. And the second aspect that the people is thinking on this possibility is that since Yahushua is called Yahushua of Nazarite, people believe that this is not referring only to the town where he was living, it's also referring to the Nazarite vow, to the Nazir vow. So because of these two aspects, people believe that Yahushua during his entire life was under a Nazir vow. Okay, that's the first option. The second option that I heard recently is that Yahushua took a Nazir vow at the moment of the last Pesach, the night before the crucifixion, when he was eating the Pesach meal with the Talmidim, that he took a Nazir vow. And basically, the whole context here is that by taking the Nazir vow, by doing that, he was able to become the Cohen Hagadol, as we see directly in the scriptures. So it's basically people are making this connection, or they are believing that because of this vow, he was able to become the Cohen Hagadol. So that's why it's so important to understand if he really took a Nazir vow or not. Okay? So we will analyze all of that, and at the end I will present you what I found in the Debar of YaHuWaH. And again, it's for your input. I have been telling you in all the videos that you don't have to rely on my words. We don't have to rely in any man, in any women. We need to rely just in YaHuWaH and in his Debar. Okay? So, for the first option that I was telling you, that Yahushua was under a Nazir vow during their entire life, I want to share with you two passages in the Brit Hadashah. The first one is in the Sefer Matidyahu. This is the book of Matthew. Sefer Matidyahu, book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 18 and 19. Matidyahu, Matthew, chapter 11, verse 18 and 19. Okay? Matthew 11, 18 and 19. And it says the following, when this is Yahushua speaking to the crowds, okay? And Yahushua was saying the following, for Yehohanan, he's talking about Yehohanan HaMatbil. Yehohanan HaMatbil is the Hebrew name for John the Immerser, or John the Baptist, okay? Yehohanan HaMatbil. So, for Yehohanan came neither eating nor drinking, and they say, he has a demon. The Ben Adam, he's talking about himself, the Ben Adam came eating and drinking, and they say, see a man, a glutton, and a wine drinker, a friend of the tax collectors and sinners, and wisdom was declared right by her works. So basically Yahushua is comparing Yehohanan, and he's comparing what the people is talking about Yehohanan and what the people is talking about him, okay? And he's saying that the people is going to say about him that he's a glutton and he's a wine drinker because he came eating and drinking. So what Yahushua is saying, giving this example that the people is going to talk that he is eating and drinking wine, because most probably Yahushua was drinking wine. You know, unfortunately for all of us, or those that grew up in Christianity or in the religion, we heard, and that was my experience, I heard all the time that drinking wine is bad, okay? And when I was starting to read the scripture by myself, I started to see that even in the Debar of YaHuWaH, we see that drinking wine is something not bad. Actually, is something that brings gladness to our heart. Okay, and actually is part of even the sacrifices in the offering in the Torah. So we see that drinking wine is not a bad thing. What is bad is to get drunk. To drunkenness in overall is bad according to the scriptures. So taking a cup of wine is not bad. Actually, it was one of the privileges of the kings. So it's not bad to say that Yahushua, as we see here, he was drinking wine. So why this is so important in the context of what we are studying? That the Nazir Vow, one of the specific aspect of the Nazir Vow, as we just read in Numbers in Bemidbar, is that drinking wine was forbidden during the period of the vow. So Yahushua, in any way, he was under a vow, a Nazir Vow, during his life, because he is saying, using the example that the people is going to talk about him, that he's a wine drinker. So we have a second witness, and this is in the book of Lucas, the Sefer Lucas, book of Luke. This is in the chapter 7. It's exactly the same story, but with the witness of Lucas. So this is the book of Luke, Lucas chapter 7, verse 34. And it says the following. It's exactly the same story, and Yahushua is speaking to the crowds, saying, the Ben Adam has come eating and drinking, and you say, look, a man, a glutton and a wine drinker, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. So we see exactly the same example, Yahushua referring about himself, giving the example about himself, that the people are going to say that he is a drinker of wine. Okay? So important things, because just with these witnesses in the Debar of YaHuWaH, we see that it's impossible that Yahushua was under a Nazir Vow during his life. Okay? So this is the option 1. The option 2 that I was telling you is that Yahushua maybe took a Nazir Vow during his last Pesach. And we find this, the first testimony is in the same book of Lucas, book of Luke. This is in the chapter 22. Book of Luke, Lucas, chapter 22. The verse 14 to 18. And the whole context in this chapter is the Pesach meal, the last Pesach meal before the crucifixion. And Yahushua is speaking to the Talmidim during the Pesach meal, okay? And it reads in the verse 14, And when the hour had come, he sat down, and the 12 Talmidim with him. And he said to them, with desire I have desired to eat this Pesach with you before my suffering. For I say to you, I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is filled in the reign, in the Malchut of Elohim. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine until the Malchut of Elohim comes. So basically Yahushua taking the cup during the meal and declaring to the Talmidim that he's not going to drink of the fruit of the vine. He's not going to drink any wine, any grape juice from that moment until the Malchut Hashamayim, the kingdom of the heavens, is established on earth. And we know that this is going to happen in his second coming. Okay, so during that time, until the establishment of the kingdom, of the Malchut of Elohim on the earth, he's saying that he's not going to drink any wine. And it's a very compelling case to see that maybe he was taking a Nazir Vow because of this declaration, that he's not going to drink any wine during this period of time. It could be that maybe he was taking a Nazir Vow. So we have a second witness about exactly the same declaration from Yahushua, and this witness is in the book of Yahu, Matthew chapter 26, verse 29. Yahu, Matthew chapter 26, verse 29. And it reads, but I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on, till that day when I drink it anew with you in the Malchut of my Father. So we see little bit more details here in the testimony of Yahu, that Yahushua is declaring, and he is very direct on his declaration, saying that from that moment on he's not going to drink any wine, any fruit of the vine, until he's going to drink it anew with us in the Malchut of the Father, the Malchut Hashamayim. So, as I said, it could be that Yahushua maybe was taking a Nazir Vow. And how we can understand this under the light of the Debar of YaHuWaH. And it's important that like in any covenant, any vow, we are responsible to fulfill and honor that vow, honor the covenant. So we know that understanding what sin is. If we are under the covenant of YaHuWaH, of the covenant of YaHuWaH with his people, okay? And we know that if we break the covenant or break the Torah, we are sinning. We're basically breaking the covenant, breaking the law. So if we are under the covenant, we have the obligation to honor and fulfill the covenant. It's exactly the same aspect for a vow. If we are, and actually you can see several examples in the Torah and also in the writings, in the Tanakh, people taking vows and honoring the vow, because it's something serious to take a vow with YaHuWaH. So this is important to keep in mind, because what I want to share with you related to the second option of Yahushua, why Yahushua was declaring that he's not going to take any fruit of the vine until the Malchut being established, considering and assuming, because we are assuming this so far, that he's taking a Nazir Vow. We need to consider all of that with the passage that I'm gonna share with you now. So let's go to the book of Romans. These are the letters of Shaul to the Romans. So let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 7. We are going to read the verse 1 to verse 2. Okay? Actually, we are going to read that until verse 3. So, book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 1 to verse 3. And it reads the following. Or do you not know, brothers, for I speak to those knowing the Torah, And this is a very important aspect because he's speaking for those that knows the Torah. And you and me are following the Torah and we are learning from the Torah. So this is important to keep in mind. This is under the whole context of the Torah. So let me read it again. Or do you not know, brothers, for I speak to those knowing the Torah, that the Torah rules over a man as long as he lives? This is an important statement, important declaration of Shaul, that the Torah rules over a man or a woman as long as he lives. Let's continue. For the married woman has been bound by Torah to the living husband, but if the husband dies, she is released from the Torah concerning her husband. So then, while her husband lives, she shall be called an adulteress if she becomes another man's. But if her husband dies, she is free from that part of the Torah, so that she is not an adulteress, having become another man's. So it's basically Shaul sharing with us and telling us that we are under the Torah during our life. And at the moment we die, we are not under the Torah. The Torah rules over us as long as we live. And he's giving us all this example about the married woman that she's bound to her husband until her husband die. At the moment her husband died, she's free from that part of the Torah. Okay, the Torah that bound her to her husband. So we see the clear example, and actually this is a very important aspect for those of you that watch the identity crisis video. This is an important aspect that is very well explained in that study about how this is applicable for the relationship between Israel and YaHuWaH, because Israel became an adulteress and she received a certificate of divorce. So the only way that Israel was able to become free and become the wife from another man is by the husband of Israel dying. And this is exactly what happened with Yahushua. Yahushua died on the cross, on the stake, in order to free us from that part of the Torah and in order to cleanse us and be able to be taken again by YaHuWaH, in this case through Yahushua. Okay? So why is this so important on the topic that we are discussing? Because if the Torah rule over us as long as we live, every aspect of the Torah is under the same concept, including the Nazir Vow. Okay? So if Yahushua was taking a Nazir Vow at the moment of Pesach, when he died on the stake, the Nazir Vow got cancelled. Because in the same way that the covenant or the Torah that was bounding the wife to her husband was cancelled, in the same way the Nazir Vow or any vow that Yahushua was taking got cancelled at the moment he died. Okay, this is important because this is the understanding and what Shaul is explaining to us under his writings here on the book of Romans. And we have a second witness for that I want to share with you, and this is in the book of Hebrews, Ivrim, the book of Hebrews, and this is in the chapter 9, book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 15 to 17. Hebrews 9, 15 to 17. And it reads, "And because of this, he's the mediator of a renewed covenant." He's talking about Yahushua and his sacrifice and how we have now a renewed covenant. "So that, death having taken place for the redemption of the transgression under the first covenant," and we know that this is exactly what we read on Romans, all the sins or the transgressions that were under the first covenant. Let's continue. "Those who are called might receive the promise of the everlasting inheritance." Let me read it again, the 15. "And because of this, he is the mediator of a renewed covenant, so that death taking place for redemption of the transgression under the first covenant, those who are called might receive the promise of the everlasting inheritance. For where a covenant is, it is necessary for the death of the covenanted one to be established. Okay? So he's explaining to us that if there is a covenant, it is necessary that the covenanted one die. Let's continue in the 17. For a covenant over those dead is firm, since it is never valid while the covenanted one is living. So it's basically talking to us that the only way that a renewed covenant can be established is that the first covenant is cancelled, and the only way that this covenant, the first covenant, is cancelled is that the covenanted one needs to die. And this is exactly what Yahushua did in the stake. He cancelled the first covenant in order to renew the covenant. And we know that the renewed covenant has exactly the same aspect of the previous covenant, but with better promises. Okay? Because under the renewed covenant, he said that he's going to write his entire Torah in our heart. And he's given us his Ruach HaKodesh in order to help us to walk in his way. So it's exactly the same covenant with better promises in order to make it easier for us to follow the way. But in order to establish this renewed covenant, as we see here in this testimony, the covenanted one, YaHuWaH through Yahushua, needed to die on the stake in order to cancel the first covenant and establish a new one. And why this is so important? Because the Nazir Vow was part of the covenant. So at the moment that the covenanted one died, any vow that any people was taking at that moment got cancelled, because the covenant, the full covenant, got cancelled. So if Yahushua really took a Nazir Vow, the Nazir Vow was cancelled at the moment he died on the stake. It's quite clear. It's not my words. It's the Debar of YaHuWaH speaking by itself. Okay? So how to understand all of this? Because we see and we read on the testimony of Matthew and Lucas about this declaration of Yahushua. So why Yahushua is declaring, if he's not taking a Nazir Vow, why he's declaring so importantly or so directly that he's not going to drink any wine until the Malchut of Elohim is going to be established? And I think there is an important light and important answer directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH to understand that declaration. And this is the part that I want to share with you. And again, it's the input that I want to share with you. Is for you to study, is for you to meditate on that, and let the Ruach to confirm this in your heart. So in order to share this with you, first we need to establish something that is very important, and most probably you already know it, but it's important to read it directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH. So let's go to the book of Hebrews, to the chapter 5. Hebrews chapter 5. We are going to read since the verse 5 to the verse 10. Okay? Hebrews, the book of Hebrews chapter 5, verse 5 to 10. And it reads like this. So also Mashiach did not extol himself to become Cohen Gadol, high priest. But it was he who said to him, "You are my son today, I have brought you forth." As he also says in another place, "You are a priest, a Cohen, forever, according to the order of Melchizedek." So let me stop here for a moment. We are reading that it wasn't Yahushua that he designated himself to be a Cohen, or a Cohen Gadol, a priest or high priest. It was YaHuWaH, the one that designated Yahushua to be the Cohen Gadol, the high priest. And one important aspect, and let me read it again, this is in the verse 6. As he also says in another place, "You are a priest, a Cohen," and listen to this, "forever." The declaration of YaHuWaH, and YaHuWaH himself is designating Yahushua to be a Cohen forever, an everlasting Cohen, and something that is forever Nobody can change it. It's forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. So the important point that I'm trying to highlight here is that Yahushua became a Cohen Hadol, not by himself, directly from Yahuwah. Let's continue in the verse 7. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and petitions with strong crying and tears to him who was able to save him from death, and was heard because of his reverent fear. It's so amazing. You know, that's why Yahushua is our example. We need to have the same reverent fear to Yahuwah. That's the only way that he's gonna listen to us. Okay? Let's continue in the verse 8. Though being a son, he learned obedience by what he suffered. That's the same way that we learn. Going through trials. That's the way that he's establishing the character of Yahushua within us. Verse 9. And having been perfected, he became the causer of everlasting deliverance to all those obeying him. Having been designated by Elohim, we have a confirmation again here. Having been designated by Elohim, a Cohen Hagadol according to the order of Melchizedek. So Yahuwah designated Yahushua HaMashiach as a Cohen Hagadol forever. And this is important that you keep it in your mind. It's forever. He's gonna be Cohen Hagadol forever. Okay? So this is the first aspect to establish. He is the Cohen Hagadol forever. So let's go now to the same book, with the book of Hebrews chapter 8, verse 1 and 2. And it says the following. Now the summary of what we are saying is, we have such a Cohen Hagadol, who is seated at the right hand of the throne of the greatness in the Shamayim. We have our Cohen Hagadol, Yahushua HaMashiach, in the Shamayim, sitting at the right hand of Yahuwah. Verse 2, it says, and who serves in the set-apart place, the college place, and of the true tent, which Yahuwah set up, and not men. And this is the important aspect that I want to highlight now. We already established that Yahushua HaMashiach is our Cohen Hagadol forever, under the order of Melchizedek. And we see here that Yahushua, during the moment that he ascended to the Shamayim, and during this period of time that he's in the Shamayim, he's serving on the temple, on the real temple that is in the Shamayim, in the throne of Elohim. He's serving there as the Cohen Hagadol. Okay? That's what we read here, and we will see another witness in the same book. This is in the chapter 9, verse 11 and 12. And it says the following, but Mashiach, having become a Cohen Hagadol of the coming good matters, through the greater and more perfect tent not made with hands, that is, not of this creation, entered in the most set apart place. He entered in the Kodesh HaKodeshim, where the ark was, and the specific, or the presence of Yahuwah himself was. Okay? Entered in the Kodesh HaKodeshim once for all, not with the blood of the goats and calves, but with his own blood, having obtained everlasting redemption. So we see here also that Yahushua, being a Cohen Hagadol, he has access to the Kodesh HaKodeshim, the most set apart place in the real temple in the Shamayim, because he's serving as the Cohen Hagadol on that temple in this very moment. Okay? Why this is so important to highlight, and what's the connection with the declaration of Yahushua saying that he's not going to take the fruit of the vine? It's because there is a specific instruction for the Cohen Hagadol and for the Kohenim, the priest, in the Torah. And we know that Yahushua is following the Torah. If he's not following with the Torah, he's breaking the Torah. And this is sin. And we know that he is not a sinner, and he's not going to sin. He's our Mashiach, and he's the Cohen Hagadol. So he being a Cohen Hagadol, he's following the instruction for the Cohen Hagadol and the Kohenim on the Torah. And there is a specific instruction that we will see has a direct connection with what Yahushua declared during the last Pesach. And for that we are going to go to the Sefer Vayikra. This is the book of Leviticus. Okay? Sefer Vayikra, book of Leviticus, chapter 10. Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter 10, verse 8 to 11. Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter 10, verse 8 to 11. And it says the following. And Yahuwah spoke to Aharon, saying, who was Aharon? Before continuing, he was the high priest, the first high priest that we see on the wilderness when Israel came out from Mizraim, Egypt. So it says, and Yahuwah spoke to Aharon, saying, listen to this, in the verse 9, do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you. Again, do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you. It's exactly related to the declaration of Yahushua during the Pesach. Let's continue. When they, let me read it again. Do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tent of appointments, the Ohel Moed, lest you die alone forever throughout your generations. So the instruction of Yahuwah to the high priest and the Kohenim, the Kohen Hagadol and the Kohenim, is that they don't have to drink wine or strong drink when they are going to serve in the tent of the appointments. And the same is applicable for the temple, and it's also applicable for Yahushua being the Kohen Hagadol serving in the real temple in the Shamayim. Not to drink any wine or strong drink when they are in the service of the Hechal, the temple. The verse 10, and this is a law forever throughout your generations. Verse 10, so as to make distinction between the set apart, the Kodesh, and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean, and to teach the children of Israel all the laws which Yahuwah has spoken to them by the hand of Moshe. So we see the amazing connection in the Debar of YaHuWaH. We see Yahushua declaring that he's not going to drink the fruit of the vine until the Malchut HaShamayim is established on earth. And we see that he is serving as Kohen Hadol forever in the temple in the Shamayim. And we see that a Kohen Hadol cannot drink any wine, cannot drink any strong drink when he's serving in the Hechal or the tent of appointment. And this is exactly what Yahushua is doing in the Shamayim. He's serving, he's going directly to the most set apart place, to the Kodesh HaKodeshim, in order to present his own blood in redemption, in order to cleanse ourselves. It's the sin offering that he's presenting. So that's why Yahushua declared that he's not going to drink any wine, because he's serving on the real temple on the Shamayim. And we see this information, this light directly on the Debar of YaHuWaH. So it's my belief, reading all these texts, that Yahushua didn't take any Nazir Vow during his life, that he didn't take any Nazir Vow during the Pesach. And his declaration is because he became the Kohen Hadol, and by being the Kohen Hadol and serving in the temple, in the Shamayim, he is not permitted to drink any wine during the service. I know that there is a pending question to answer. So how Yahushua became a Kohen Hadol? And there is a study that I hope to share with you very soon, that I call Yahushua HaMashiach Melech Bekohen Hadol. What it means? It means Yahushua the Messiah, King and High Priest. And we will analyze directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH how Yahushua was able to become a High Priest. And before that, and most probably in a video like this, we will analyze if taking a Nazir Vow can make a person become a Kohenim, a priest, because this is also an important aspect that we need to understand directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH. So I hope that this video can bring some light to you. You know, again, don't rely on my words, rely on the word of YaHuWaH and what the Ruach HaKodesh is confirming here in your heart. And again, this is not to create polemic, this is just the intention to search for the truth directly in the source of the truth. Okay? Thank you for watching this video. Toda Rabah for your support. Toda for your prayers. You know, I feel I feel happy in my heart. I have been trying. Why? Because I have been trying to share this with you since yesterday night, Friday night, and I wasn't able to do it. And I thanks YaHuWaH, because now he's giving me the opportunity to share this important information with you, and I hope that this is gonna be a beracha for you in the same way that it's a beracha, a blessing for me. So thank you for your support and watching this video, and YaHuWaH be with you all, and see you in the next one. Shalom.